In 2014, Indonesia was ranked the 10th largest economy in the world. Indonesia has the potential to achieve a ranking of 7 in 2030 if the productivity of its human resources continues to improve. Indonesia currently has about 55 million skilled workers, and another 58 million will be needed by 2030. That's an additional 3.8 million people per year. This is why the role of vocational education and training is so important.
In Indonesia, we're currently facing the era of Industry 4.0, which consists of digitalization and connectivity in each work process, particularly in manufacturing. Employees must be able to adapt to these technological advances and make good use of them. To be competitive, we must supply corporations with a skilled workforce that has an innovative mindset. Without good vocational education, the private sector really suffers because there are so many graduates, but they're not ready to be employed. What can be done about vocational education?
Currently, the Indonesian labor force is dominated by elementary and junior high school graduates. President Jokowi has asserted it is essential to upskill Indonesia's workforce.
The implementation of vocational education can't just be imposed on one sector, but rather must be a collaboration between stakeholders. Some of the important ministries include the Ministry of Education and Culture, Ministry of Research and Higher Education, Ministry of Industry, Ministry of Manpower, Kadin, that's the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Business and Industry. They must collaborate to produce a skilled workforce. Now, the challenge in making the employment demand roadmap is data. There isn't much data concerning future employment demands over the next 5 to 10 years, let alone 20 years down the road. I think our weakness is in the area of coordination. Therefore, we hope that one institution will be specifically assigned to plan, create a good system, and come up with one grand design that's fully supported by the President in order to coordinate the existing ministries. I think it's still hard to obtain a certificate of recognition. The role of the private sector is very important because it helps increase the work readiness or employability of our labour force by opening up opportunities such as internships or apprenticeships. The government can encourage companies to support and get involved in the development of MSMEs in order to provide employment for others.
Micro, small and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, are the backbone of the Indonesian economy. In 2013, there were more than 57.8 million MSMEs, with a capacity to absorb more than 114 million workers. BPS data shows an increase in employment numbers of MSMEs every year. The number of workers absorbed by MSMEs now accounts for 97.3% of total national employment.
The government can build infrastructure that supports the competency development of vocational school students. The government can provide facilities and infrastructure to support a teaching factory in each vocational school. The government can hold training of trainers for prospective instructors within industries. And the government can also offer incentives to industries that build and develop vocational schools. It's necessary to have a committee consisting of governmental and industrial representatives with the involvement of professional associations, Kadin and Apindo. Recognition of training results through certification should become the starting point for human resources development in industry.
Maka diperlukan harmonisasi.
What's needed to achieve good public-private partnerships is the harmonization and synchronization of the various regulations. We must ensure that the private sector receives incentives and that they're also involved in improving the quality of education in Indonesia.
The German dual vocational system, as we call it, dates back to the 19th century and has proven to be very effective. Now, for Indonesia, not 100% of the system can be copied, but there are core elements which are worthwhile applying also in other countries. In Germany, a little over 50% of the financing is borne by government and a little under 50% by the private sector. This proves how intense their cooperation is. So the curricula, for instance, are highly influenced by the private sector and by the chambers of commerce system. We are quite honored to be asked to come to Indonesia and to develop even more efforts in order to explain what our model looks like and where it can be applied in Indonesia.
Without highly capable, educated blue-collar workers, our economy won't be strong. So we don't just support this, we feel it's our duty to help ourselves so we can compete better globally. This is why Kadin is going all out to address this vocational problem. Blue-collar workers are operators up to supervisors, and the best candidates will appear from their ranks. We need to invite vocational schools to collaborate and optimize their technical capabilities. We're also proud that industries can become partners in developing student competencies in Indonesia's vocational schools. There are success stories of synergies between the government and the private sector. Our challenge now is to build a system based on such success stories. The quality of vocational education is not only the responsibility of the government, but also of the private sector. The government and private sector need to join hands to improve the quality of vocational education in Indonesia. Only through collaboration between the two can we successfully improve the abilities of vocational educational graduates. Let's work together to advance inclusive economic growth.